short prayer after I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
God you just stay standing for just a couple of things before we pray. Reggie is not here tonight. His son, 33 years old, had open heart surgery today. He was in for 5 hours, and praise God, he's doing well, and they said that he should be coming home in a few days. So we're thankful for that. We did talk about the family that his life was taken on Salem Road. Been in touch with them, and we've had some other issues going on with their kids, so continue to pray for that family, and they need our prayers and stuff. So let's pray. Father, we thank Thee so much for what You've done for us. We thank Thee for our community. We thank Thee for those involved in leadership. We thank Thee for our consultants. We just ask You to give them wisdom. We thank Thee for how You bless our lives. We thank Thee as a community, how so many of our kids and people have been educated through here and through so many things that our community provides. We're so blessed to have these great families in our community. We pray for every family that's here. We pray for our first responders. We pray for them that You would protect them, keep them safe. We thank Thee again for our meeting here tonight. May You bless it. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
All right, thank you. Seated.
Thanks for the nice weather.
Baseball team's still in there after the Final Four. And I want to turn some to Mark.
Okay. Board members, make sure your mic is on. As you know, of course, Reggie's not here tonight. He's excused. And approval of agenda. Any additions or deletions at this time? Okay, if not, the agenda presented as it stands. And we're down to public comment. Who's going to be first tonight?
I would just like to say you did a great job on Flag Day.
You really need to make sure you thank those who are in that committee, and they really worked hard. How could we not have a better day than that, right? I mean, it was like, I know you talked earlier about it being canceled because of the weather.
It was raining like crazy out in Manchester in the afternoon. I was there.
Yeah.
Like hour and a half straight rain,
Right.
hard rain.
So we were really blessed for a great evening. Had a great crowd, and it was a fun evening. So I tell everybody, I actually emailed some of them. I said, this is, I've been the supervisor for 14 years, and I can't believe it's been that long. And you look at things, and who cares what your titles? I mean, I've never cared about a title, but when you have an event like that, and you watch the community, and you watch the small town atmosphere that's here, and the people that make kind comments about it, it really does make you proud to represent Salem Township. And I'm just so blessed for the people that have put all this effort in it to make it successful. So thanks again. We really. Okay, who's next? Yes, Scott.
I'd like to publicly give a kudos to Lyon Township citizens. They showed up in droves the other night to let their elected officials know they did not want a data center. And I'm going to take this opportunity to ask you collectively as a group what the board thinks of the data center. Personally, I think it's not really a quiet neighborhood. And I know that they're trying to pop one up somewhere around here. There's already one in Saline. I think they have a heck of a PR firm trying to push these down a lot of communities' throats. And I hope Salem Township does not want one placed within our borders.
Thanks, Doug.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Okay, anybody else? Yes, Steve.
Thank you, Gary and the board, for a few minutes. So, I'm Dee Davy. I'm a Salem Precinct delegate, and we have multiple Salem Precinct delegates here in the room. Raise your hand, please. Thank you. And every month we get our neighbors together to talk about what's going on locally, in Michigan, and nationally. We start off with prayer and pledge, we have snacks and chat, and every month we've been having Chris Darrow, an attorney, give an update on a Supreme Court case hearing. So it's kind of what's behind the scenes of a Supreme Court case, and they're incredibly interesting. We're meeting June 25th at the Salem South Lyon District Library at 6 o'clock. Leaflets are in the back of the room. Please come and join us. My second announcement, if I may. Oh, I need my prop. This Saturday at 5 o'clock, Tom Ballinger, who's running for the 14th District Senate position. Ton of a New Era is running for you. She is running in her campaign across the entire 14th district. And she's starting in the northeast corner of Salem Township. And we are inviting anybody who wants to come along and egg her on. We have water, pop, and snacks, compliments of Three Cedars Farm. Come join her, kick her off, run a few yards or steps if you choose, or if you have a bicycle, ride along with her for a bit. But just encouraging support for our good friend Tom Ballinger, who's running for 14th Senate District seat. I'll put that on the back.
What time does that start?
5 o'clock, and it's here. We have the primary election coming up August 4th, and I know Dell has already published information in the Salem Messenger, but I just want to remind people of some of the reasons to come out and vote in a primary, because a lot of people think, it's just a primary, why should I be bothered? It's local. It impacts us in our community. So in Precinct 1, as an example, there are 2 millages to increase taxes. That's going to be on the ballot. In Precinct 2, there's going to be 2 millages to increase taxes. And in Precinct 3, there's going to be 3 millages to increase taxes. So pay attention to what's going on in our primary elections, not just the candidates, but things that will impact us locally. And then finally, if I may, one more quick one. There have been a number of petition drives going on through the year, and one of those you may or may not have heard of. It's called Money Out of Politics. This will be on the November ballot in Michigan, and on the surface it sounds really swell. It bans political contributions from major consumer energy organizations like DTE and Consumer Energy. That sounds pretty good, except it prohibits employees from those organizations from making political contributions. So the people who work for these companies cannot voice their opinion in dollars. It allows union political activity, like the UAW. It allows out-of-state money to pour into Michigan, and it allows corporate political spending. The backers of this petition, 900,000 is coming from Massachusetts. Do we want Massachusetts influencing Michigan? I don't think so. We've got 645,000 from Tides Advocacy Group, another 250,000 from another group, another 100,000 from another Massachusetts group, and it goes on and on and on. So the proposal's only going to help coastal elites and Hollywood, and not really help Michigan. So do your homework, read, make your decision, and vote according to your conscience in November. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Question for Dee? Again, question,
Yes,
has the, keep money out of politics, has that
It has-
obtained enough signatures
it
on
has enough signatures, and it's going to be on the November ballot.
But we don't know about,
Citizens-
only citizens
Oh,
vote yet?
yeah, so we don't know. There, apparently, the citizens only vote. They are reviewing the petition forms. We have not received a definitive answer that that petition has qualified, even though the minimum amount of signatures we needed to turn in was 456,000. We turned in 750,000, but it hasn't been put on the ballot yet. Any other questions? Yeah, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, keep money out of politics. I mean, how is that language even approved? It's totally misleading.
So it's the way all of the proposal language is approved.
But how can it be? It means facially, objectively misleading.
And
Yeah,
every
right.
single petition, every single conservative petition that is approved is misleading. It goes through a Board of State canvasser process. And I invite some of you to maybe listen into one or two of those State Board of Canvasser petition meetings when they are agreeing language of petitions, and you will better understand the linguistics, gymnastics that go on, not in conservative favor.
I think you said every conservative proposal has misleading language. I think you meant non-conservative.
Oh, sorry, non-conservative. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Exactly.
All right, thanks, Dave.
Okay.
Okay,
Supervisor.
anybody else? Yeah.
Go ahead, I don't want to interrupt
No.
you. I just want to follow up on the question. As far as petitions go, the law in Michigan simply says the language has to be clear. It doesn't say it has to be factual. Many times they're not factual, but if the language is clear, they'll approve the language.
Even to say that's absurd.
Okay, anybody else? Pop right up, I get some water. All right, that quieted everybody down? All right, so we're ready for the consent agenda?
Yes.
Clerk Wensley.
All right, I move that Salem Township approve the following consent agenda items. We have last month's minutes, we have May 12th, 2026, regular meeting of the Board of Trustees. Then we have disbursements for the month of May out of the general fund of $379,191.27. Payroll of $57,312.63. Escrow fund, $508,861.75. Sewer fund, $12,602.59. The MEDC water fund, $6,435.52. The MEDC fund, which is the general fund, $163,742.75. Now, invoices that will be paid in the month of June, out of the general fund, $395,828.07. The escrow fund, $510,452.75. Sewer fund, $9,161.70. The water fund, $32,225.52. And lastly, the MEDC general fund invoices $184,843.87. We have a second on all of these.
I'll second it. Okay, John, Daniel seconds it. Any questions, board members, on the consent agenda? If not, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is passed. All right, so we're moving down to administrative. We have the Salem Township ordinance adopting for Northfield Township agreement and their ordinances. So we do have Lieutenant Dave Powell in the back there. So if you want to say any comment, I mean, how is, this is what, the first week? First full week?
Yeah.
First full week, so
Well, yesterday.
according to the lieutenant, they've been very busy. So anybody here get a ticket yet?
Well, they shouldn't because we don't have ordinances.
Right. So,
I don't have anything to add. Yes, they've been busy. They're learning the lay of the land, learning the people. So if you see them, they're going to get up, approach and introduce themselves to you, and hopefully, take kindly to that. And we're here to serve you all and do what we can. And,
How many are there?
I'll tell you that.
Oh, okay.
You probably want to know what they drive too, right?
yeah, right.
Whether patrol what kind.
There's 2 of them, so they divide it up. They're 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Okay.
Is the scheduled time.
Can I ask my other question?
Sure.
Sure.
If you have an alarm system and it goes off, do you guys get called or do we have to change a phone number?
No, so that'll go to Metro Dispatch,
Okay.
Washtenaw County Metro Dispatch, and they dispatch us.
Okay, same as like 911?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
And then as far as, I don't know if you want to touch on what the ordinances, I haven't seen the ordinances, so I don't know,
Yeah, we'll give you a copy. Well, if you need to leave, you can go back, but we'll.
how many there are, or
Yeah.
what the plan is, but,
So we were going to bring that up after you get done talking, Dave, but
Okay.
we just adopted, or we're going to adopt your ordinances when it comes to what you have at Northfield
okay.
for traffic and.
Yeah, if I can, there's 2 very simple ordinances. One, and both are the same as what you have. One adopts the motor vehicle code, the other one adopts the uniform traffic code by reference. I mean, it doesn't lay them all out, it just adopts them both by reference, which is the same way I saw that you had it laid out in the Northfield ordinances. So I thought to make sure something you're familiar with and to keep it simple, we do the same thing here in Salem Township.
Yep.
I did have one question, though. The uniform traffic code refers to a police engineer.
I don't know why the uniform, I don't know, I haven't seen it, what you're proposing, but I know, so the motor vehicle code, so there's the Michigan Motor Vehicle Code is a state statute for civil infractions and driving infractions. So local municipalities will create an ordinance that adopts that whole motor vehicle code book into one ordinance. So that, I mean, the motor vehicle code is 5-6 inches thick, right? You can't sell a car on Sunday, and, so we have a local ordinance that just adopts all that, and it's easier for us to use that local ordinance code to issue citations if they issue citations.
Great.
That's all I have. We're working on technology, our CAD system and our report writing management system. That all got transitioned. It took like 8 hours to do the transition on Monday the 1st. We thought that, Monday morning was a good time to do it. I think there was four or five calls here in Salem before 10 a.m. that they were running on while we're trying to merge all this data and all these engineers doing computer stuff and whatnot. So we still got a little bit more work to do on our end. It won't affect service, but on our end, as far as the computers and migrating data and getting everything set up, we still got some tasks at hand, but we're pushing forward.
It's just great having you here. I don't know what else to say. I want to jump up and down, but I don't want to act stupid. But we on Flag Day, we did have, there was an assault there, something happened, you have a big crowd, you never happened. But the great thing about it, even our fire chief said the same thing, is, somebody calls, somebody is there, of course, our officer was on the scene right away. So just to have the response time when we know that there's a car in the area. So it puts a little bit more peace of mind, at least in my mind, when you're waiting. I mean, our fire guys would be out, and it would take, I know the one house fire we had down on 6 Mile about a year ago, and it took 4 hours to get a response from the county. And just for traffic control, I mean, we don't have a lot of response from fire department during the day. So it's just important, and these guys have, so I've already heard from the fire people, they're very, very happy with
with having somebody respond to some of these calls, so we're fortunate, so. Anything else, Dave, you want?
No, I don't have anything.
Well, thanks for being here tonight, and you don't have to hang around, you know, unless you just want to stay and talk and eat, so. But we appreciate you. All right, so I am going to make a motion to move Salem Township approve the new traffic and vehicle ordinance for Salem Township to be incorporated into the Salem Township Ordinance Book as requested by Northfield Township Police Department. This will allow and permit our new police department to issue citations when necessary pursuant to our local ordinance rather than the state laws and keep the fines for such citations local. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Bruce Reeves, any other questions? Okay, if not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion's passed. Okay, next on the agenda is farming ordinance. Planning Commission has been working hard on this one. I will make the motion and we can discuss it here just a little bit, okay? I move that Salem Township approve the Planning Commission's proposed zoning ordinance text amendments for updated definitions and regulations for fences and permitting uses and zoning approval related to rural uses. Can I have a second on this?
A second.
TJ, seconds. I do want to, I have an amendment to change this that the Planning Commission approved, and you would find it on page, page 7. And basically just a simple change, and we can talk about it.
Dell, I'll call you after at the meeting. I'll call you after
And pulled it out just to make sure I have it here. Here we go, right here. All right, so basically it's on page 7, down on number 1, where prior to establishing a new farm, it did say, what the Planning Commission passed, a new farm, it would be prior to establishing a new farm or agriculture use. So the reason why we want to change this, or I would like to make a motion to change it to a farming operation and take out the or agricultural use. Basically what we're trying to do is to update some of the farms and everything that we have. We cherish our farms that are here that grow and crops, and that we want to keep that rural character in Salem Township. We've had some problems come up in the past. We've had Cardinal Farms had come in, and that the Planning Commission, there was a lot of controversy over that. Just as far as we want, when people come here, we have open land, and when a new farm is established, they need to come in and have a site plan and have, so that people kind of know what is going on that property when there's a new use coming in. The people who are doing agricultural now, it's not, it's different. They have animals, they grow crops. If they decide to change that, the way it kind of reads, they could force them, maybe the farmers, to come in and do a new site plan. And I mean, that's not what we're trying. We're not trying to make it hard on the farmers. And so if you think of the Three Cedars Farm, which I own, that's totally different. That's the ag tourism ordinance that we have, which is totally separate from that. So what I have to do is separate from what a farm that, like the Hamiltons have, and other Kenny Hamlin and that. So, but that's the change that we need to make in there, just to make sure it's. If you have any questions about that, so I would suggest that we change that on page 7 to prior to establishing a new farm operation, and then that would take care of, or agricultural, the ones that are doing that they would not have to come in and change their agricultural use.
We also found the error on page 15. The date, Paul sent a date that was from 22, so we just want to make that 2026.
Oh, at the end?
Very last page, yeah.
All right. All right. So, the planning commission passed it. Ed, what do I need to do? I need to just make a motion to amend this, adding them?
Yeah, I'm not even sure you need to make a motion to amend if the board is going to adopt it as presented, which has, I mean, my copy already has the change made.
Right.
I think we can just go ahead and adopt it as been submitted with that particular change.
Sounds good to me. All right, can we have a second on this? TJ? Oh, that's right, or TJ already. TJ is on the planning commission, so. All right, let's have a roll call vote on this.
All right. Daniel?
Yeah.
Luca is absent. Laughlin?
Yes.
Reeve?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Winsley, yes, and Whitaker?
Yes. All right. So we are now moving down to the new zoning administrator, Clerk Wenzel.
All right, we have a motion and a resolution. I move that Salem Township Board of Trustees approve the continuing contract for planning and zoning services from Carlisle Wortman, with the replacement from Paul Montagno to Mr. Stephen Zampardo. See attached resolution for appointing Stephen as the new Township Zoning Administrator. It's basically a contract. They're changing the individual. So I'll read the short resolution. Whereas Salem Township is authorized under the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act to appoint a zoning administrator to administer and enforce the provisions of the Salem Township zoning ordinance. And whereas the Township Board finds it necessary and appropriate to appoint a qualified individual to serve as zoning administrator for Salem Township. And whereas the Township Board has determined that Stephen Zampardo possesses the qualifications and experience necessary to perform the duties of the zoning administrator, now therefore be it resolved that the Salem Township Board hereby appoints Stephen Zampardo to serve as the new Salem Township zoning administrator. Be it further resolved that the zoning administrator shall perform all duties and responsibilities assigned by the Salem Township zoning ordinance, the Michigan Zoning Enabling Act, and all other applicable laws, regulations, policies, and directives of the Township Board. And it looks like we need a roll call vote.
I'll second that.
Oh, yes.
I'll second it, and then we'll have a roll call vote.
Okay, Daniel?
Yes.
Laughlin?
Yes.
Reeve?
Yes.
Trent?
Yes.
Winsley, yes, and Whitaker.
Yes. Just wanted to comment on this. So Carlisle Wortman has been with us for quite a few years now. I did ask Dick Carlisle, who when I first came here, we had hired him, he's kind of retired, I guess, or semi-retired, I don't know what you call it. But I've asked him to come back to help with the Salem Springs project, which, you know, when the sewer's built, when that will happen, you know, coming down here, MI Homes for the USD is, I guess that's who they'll be selling the property to and building homes there. So he's willing to help me and come back and help me with that. And then Paul is moving on, and this new fellow is coming in. His hours will be on Tuesday instead of Wednesday. Paul is here half a day on Wednesdays. And the other guy was
Stephen.
Stephen will be here on Tuesdays. So, and then we still have John, I don't think the board's even met John yet.
He knows that, I don't think so.
Yeah, he knows who's actually going to be watching over the whole thing. So we got a lot of people working on the planning, so hopefully maybe it'll get better. So, got a lot of guys working on it, so. So that's that. So that's the change that will be happening with that.
The supervisor?
Yeah.
I did have a chance to meet Stephen at the last planning commission meeting and talk to him. I know that he was a former zoning administrator for the city of Frankenmuth.
Correct.
And I know how particular those Germans are in Frankenmuth, so he must have been doing a good job.
Well, why isn't he still there?
Because he wants to work for us.
Okay, all right. All right. All right, so we're down to financials. I know we had a lot of runs here after the rain, so I don't see the chief here. So we're down to board discussion. Well, let's talk about the streetscape. I mean, we're probably getting tired of it. I don't know how you like what it looks like, but it's coming along really well, and we got the street lights up. They'll be doing more here next week with finishing up. There's about 7 more poles that are be going up to the west of us. There's if you look at on the south, on the north side, you'll see they call them shrouds that go around the round base of the concrete, which really adds to it. So they fixed them. They didn't have them all done, so the rest of them are here. So they'll be working on the south side, and so that you won't see the concrete showing underneath there. So, and then the lights are not lit yet. They're saying maybe it's going to be another week and a half before they get the panels in there. So that's kind of, you know, I actually went through the hamlet when we just had these heavy rains, and you could see that it was working very well, the drainage. You could see it coming out to the big pond over there. So we do have one issue that has got to be addressed, and just so the board knows, we have Dickerson Street here, which is, that's got to be addressed. It's got to be addressed with some curbing, and it has to be addressed with some more drainage because it's not draining properly there. So I don't know if it was still puddles when you came in tonight, but that's not draining properly. So the engineers are going to be here tomorrow. We're going to have a meeting about it to talk about what needs to happen with that strip on both sides. We're saying there needs to be, I think there needs to be a drain. We have to take the sidewalk that's just in back of us here, that needs to be raised. It's low and it's flooding all the time. So that was probably it should be in the project that we went out for bid on. So we got to meet with them, get them back over here and see how they're going to address this over here. But we did add, I don't know if you get a chance, go take a look at this brick that is out there. It's a lot more money that we put in there, but it's a sealed brick that you don't have to seal. I don't know if you have brick pavers at home, but they can be a pain in the neck. But these will really last. So it's if you get a chance to look at them, they really look good and will hold up. So the other thing that we've noticed that across the street from the fire department on that side, the brick doesn't match up, and we have a cutout here in front of the store, which nobody owns or is running the store yet, but you see a little cut in there. When you leave tonight, take a look at it. It just doesn't make sense. So we're having the engineers cut that out and have it line up with the vet across the street, and then we're telling them we want the curb. You know, they got blacktop in front of theirs. It kind of looks kind of goofy. So like when you get to deliveries there, they pull right up on the curb, and you know it's not done right. So that needs to be a straight curb where they can pull into the vet, they can pull into the country store, and not have these kickouts there. And then add some brick in front of the vet, and then in front of Eddie Roroff's house, just to make it complete, a little bit down by the post office. So that's the plan, but we got to get them back out here tomorrow, 11 o'clock, their meeting, and hopefully we can get this project done and behind us.
What have they said about repaving of the street?
So that is going to, on the 18th is when they're planning that, so in that week is when it's scheduled to do. So, but again, I don't want to delay it at all because that road really needs to be fixed, especially with the noise and everything when trailers go by. So hopefully we'll get this section down here with the curbing that needs to be done here and then get the pavers in here to pave it right. So. I don't know, any more questions about the streetscape, anybody?
Is the sewer part of it completed other than the one issue
Yeah.
you mentioned?
Yeah, and I drove through the hamlet tonight, or right after that rain, and everything is just draining really, really well, so we're pleased with that. The USD, there's nothing really new to talk about, other than the engineering still going well. MI Homes is talking to our engineers, but nothing really new other than they did send the developer kind of an estimate anywhere between 40 and 60 million to get that sewer down to Ipsy. So it's kind of a big span, but anyway, so.
Eric,
Yeah.
could you back up and tell me what MID or whatever?
MI Homes is the one, is the developer, or not, well, developer of homes. The Showstat Group has sold the property to the MI Homes.
Okay, so Showstack is out of the picture now.
Well, not really, but this is who they're going to have develop homes in there. So I know they're working together with our engineers.
Okay, so two companies will come to the planning commission when they have to bring in all this.
Probably. Yes. Joe.
Yeah, I saw the one plan that was submitted out, probably about 5 or 7 years ago, for the one parcel, 500 acres, which, I don't know, it seemed all right. But I'm just concerned, because I work in Novi, but they put in that Sakura Village very recently, and they jammed a whole ton of apartments along 11 Mile. It's atrocious. And what they're doing to Northville with the Northville downside is horrendous. I mean, it's like blocking all the light, from on Center Street. It's terrible. I mean, it's going to be terrible when it's done. I hope we don't want anything like that here.
No.
I don't think anybody.
Yeah, what do you say? It's like development comes and it's like, you watch the traffic around here. It's hideous. And, what do you do? I mean, we're kind of like a
I can't
pass-through.
believe they approved that in Northville. It's just horrendous so far, and it's going to get worse when they finish.
Yeah, so, anyway, so that's what's going on down there at the USD. And then as far as our roads or dirt roads, so I did get a call from the road commission about the calcium chloride, which I was so excited to finally get after 14 years. And they informed me that they could not get delivery of the product, that they couldn't get it when they just came through and graded here not too long ago. But they did say that they would put 3 layers of the brine, which has helped. You can tell a little bit color, but it's nothing like using the calcium chloride. So they have done it with this brine, and I've had some people on Chubb Road and Salem Road call and say, hey, it's working. It's a lot better than when they just put the little bit of it on. But anyway, once you see the calcium chloride, you know what I'm talking about. You can see it in Northville. You can see it over in Lyon Township, some of the dirt roads that they're using there. So I'm anxious to get that done. So hopefully by the next grading, which would be probably in another month or so, that we'll see that eventually. The last thing I want to talk about is the battery storage facility that we had a planning commission meeting here almost a month ago. And we had a big crowd show up about it, and a lot of good information. I received emails from some of the residents that were here that our planning commission did a great job in asking questions, and but there's still a lot of questions that we have about it. And it's at Tower Road, and in Tower Road and Joy, right at the border of Salem there. About a 168-acre farm, about 10 acres of it, that land has been preserved there. But it's 10 acres, I mean, from the plans that we were seeing that they're burning it well, the lighting is not going to really affect the people that are around there. There's not a whole lot of people around there, but there's still concerns on it, and I think our fire chief is involved, a lot of people, engineers. There's some of this stuff out in Wisconsin that our engineers are involved in, so a lot of these questions are coming up, and we're trying to get answers to the public about how this is going to affect. And again, unfortunately, it's one of these things where that zoning and that kind of renewable energy is taken out of our hands as far as the companies that come in. They could very easily just go to the state and bypass what our ordinance say about this kind of facility. And so that's the other thing you have to weigh too, that do you just let them come in? If we say no, they go up there and they come in and they put it in anyway, and then there's no benefit to Salem Township. So it's really, I get mixed feelings, but if they have the fire, I think that's what most people are worried about when you say, Jim, if the thing fire, when something like that happens with these battery plants, if you read about all the fires that have happened, that you just need to let them burn and burn to the ground, and you can't put it out with water. They have said that they would have a tank, how many gallon tank put on the ground?
30,000.
Yeah, that would be there in case, you know, it does burn down and it catches grass on fire and it's whatever, so they're providing some of that stuff, things that we're asking for. But unfortunately, it's like, if we say no, we know they're going up and they're gonna do it anyway. And that's already been a threat on their part, even in the very beginning, I think 2 years ago when they came in here. So, but again, we're still, I think, was there a meeting today or was it canceled?
No, there was a meeting today with Pam Merlo from the Planning Commission.
Right.
And there were some issues that were raised at the planning board meeting, and a few issues that weren't clear. And we asked for them, and Stantec asked for some updates from the engineers to clarify. I think noise was one, I think shielding was another, and certainly on the toxic plume. So they're working on giving us written replies to share back to the community to get a clearer picture on some of the questions that were raised.
And I did get an email from the supervisor in Coldwater, Michigan, which they had, not from this company, but another company who does have a plant there. And I've asked if we could make a road trip and like to see what they're dealing with. So I should have information. I know a couple of the planning commissioner members would like to go, and we'll just get a chauffeur and a big old limo and go up there. No, but we'll hopefully they will show us what they got up there. So, any questions on any of these? Yes, Bonnie.
Gary, you said when you started out that the battery people might just bypass us and go to the state, and there would be no help for us,
No compensation on anything.
compensation.
Right.
What are the compensations that
Well,
they're planning to give us now
yeah.
for letting them come there? Or
So right now, there's a grant. I think they start at like 200,000, and then there's another grant for another 200,000. So it'd be 400,000. They came back to us, and I think they came back to us, and I said, well, what about a host agreement? They said, well, we can't pay you what the landfill pays you. And I said, well, you could get close to it, but but anyway, so there are other communities and other ones. I know Coldwater was getting roughly 30,000, so 30,000 a year, and they
you're
were
actually going to cough up money then?
yeah. So they
Well, you didn't say that.
well, I mean, nothing really has been signed yet, unless we did sign that paper. So now, and I negotiated with them. I told them we want 150,000 a year, and
they came down, flew their people down here, and then the guy that was in the meeting was at our last board meeting, and I said, you better tell him we'll go 100,000 and that's it, because they said they wouldn't do the 150, so they agreed to the 100,000.
Yeah, if I can, yeah, the draft host agreement that was sent to me does say $100,000 per year.
So if we go and give them all what they want and keep the state out, we get the money. If we don't, they don't have to pay us.
They don't have to.
Okay.
But to be honest with you, and I shouldn't say it, but I really don't want it. I mean, it's kind of one of them things, but you just have to weigh everything. It's kind of like the data centers and everything else. You really need to educate yourself on everything about them. And renewable energy, the windmills, you got to look at it all, so try to have an open mind. But all right, any other questions? All right, so we're down to public comment. This is your last chance. I think, Chief, you want to say anything? I'm sorry.
I did. Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I apologize for being late. Obviously, the storms had an impact, and I think there's residents without power as we speak. I know I am. We almost had another structure fire with the burning torch again. So the resident was using that burning torch. He caught the pine tree, which went up and melted the siding of his house before it was extinguished. So be careful. We've had a dry spell. I can't say that today, but we've had a dry spell. So please, with the torches, have a hose if you're going to use that, or be very judicious in how you use that to make sure that it doesn't get away from you. We don't want to have to fight another house fire. We also had, which I never thought we would have in Salem, we've had a drowning, which turned out to be fatal, unfortunately, out at the Northville Crossings, which is in 20 plus years, and it's the first drowning that we've ever had. I didn't think we'd have one. And then on a more positive note, it really has helped with Northfield PD being a Salem detachment. We're seeing a difference already in the first week or so. By not having to wait for PD, by having an officer on scene, just helps tremendously with scene control and not having us to tie up. I think a lot of residents were aware on Saturday, the day of the fireworks, they had a transformer kind of blew on 8 Mile. So 8 Mile was shut down for 4 hours because we literally had an electrical pole that was burning and the wires were hanging over 8 Mile. And we didn't know if it was going to fall on 8 Mile or not. So just having officers in here is really, thank you Northfield for providing the support. It's been really, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's been a good start from my perspective. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Public comment time? Yes.
I promised myself I wasn't going to say anything today.
That's all right.
I want to thank you for the postcards that you sent out for Flag Day. It sort of reminded everybody about a community event. I would just like to say, I think a public hearing situation might also be a good time to send out a postcard. The Battery Center is something that affects all of us, and the only thing I knew about it, or the only reason I knew about the public hearing, is that I was reviewing today's packet, and it was mentioned in last month's meeting minutes, a comment at the end that you reminded everybody that there was going to be a public hearing about it at the Planning Commission. And I think stuff like that is really important for everybody to know about. I'm not adjacent to it. It doesn't directly affect my life, but it affects me as a community member, and I'd like to be able to at least know about that stuff and be able to participate if I want to.
Okay. Sure. Okay. Anybody else? Yes. Pete.
Just a question in response or tagging on to that. Are all of our public hearings posted on our website?
Yes.
So we can proactively go to the website to keep up to date with things?
Right. Thank you. A lot of times in public hearings, And that's why it's hard, I mean, mailing is crazy. You know, we did this mailing for that yard, which, you know, I'm surprised I'm not gonna get some slack over that, because it's expensive to mail them out. The mailings, you know, like our newsletter, it's like, to mail that out, it's like $5,000. You know, so you can be doing mailings, I mean, we got a public hearing coming up on, you know, the Edis Market, that's another, that's coming up, a real nice building, I'm not really crazy about it, but they're gonna have a public hearing probably on that in July. And then, and of course, there was one other thing that was coming. But again, just make sure you check the website, because we'll put it on there. But again, a lot of times you don't even know, because you don't know because we have engineering, we have the road commission, we got the soil erosion people, all that stuff has to be in for our consultants to do the planning, and then get it out, then it's gotta be in the newspaper, be published so much for the public hearing. So we just watch the board packets and what needs to be online there, so. Yes, Joe?
Yeah, you probably, said it's already been out there, but I wasn't at the May meeting, but April, there was some talk about the state and Washtenaw County gonna make some kind of decision on the landfill expansion. What was that result?
So they haven't, that hasn't come to the Washtenaw County Commissioners, who that will be coming up. I know there's a meeting tomorrow, correct?
Yeah, the Material Management Planning Committee meets tomorrow, and Washtenaw County is going to put out, it's to take several meetings to go through citing collection points, landfill, sorting, MRFs, and things like that. They're going to present to us some of the rules and thoughts and stuff behind it, so it'll take us a few meetings for them to throw that stuff at us, and then they're going to ask us to try and work through the part that's going to go into the actual recommendation. So this will be over several months, starting tomorrow, once a month.
And again, yes.
I'm curious who the contact is as far as the website, because I've noticed gaps. I go to find meeting videos, and they're not there. There's no indexing, so who would the contact be that?
Ann Alexander
Okay.
would be the person to contact in there if you can't find something. Yes?
Back to the battery facility. That's just gonna store power when it's available off of the current grid, and then put back in when, maybe when there's more demand, right? It's not intention to be something that will get charged from, say, a future solar farm nearby, or wind farm.
Yeah.
My understanding on that is that the battery company that's putting this together fully intends, they'll still manage it, but they intend to basically put this out to bid, if you will. So somewhere between consumers or DTE, they're going to actually take the responsibility of turning it on, turning it off when they, so it's going to be between one of the two, DTE or consumers, as far as how that's going to get utilized. So it won't have the opportunity for additional development for solar farm, data centers, anything like that. It is going to be fully managed by one of the two utility companies as far as where that power gets turned on, turned off, and added to the grid, taken off the grid. That and MISO would be the way that would be handled. It won't be something available to Joe's Solar Farm or anything like that, or anybody else.
Does DTE or consumers have solar farms and windmills themselves?
They're wind farms, not windmills.
Wind farms.
Yes, tons of them are mandated to be there.
But as far as Salem goes, the real estate is the 10-acre parcel, and that's it. And the reason for that choice is because it's location close to an intersecting, a large intersecting grid that doesn't have too many of those in the state, so rated high on the list of places that needs extra help, unfortunately.
Rose, so DTE has that facility at Napier and 5. And soon thereafter, they started putting up those humongous new posts going up Napier and down 6 Mile to who knows where. They're huge. Is something like that going to be associated with this facility? How do they get the power from this 10 acres to where it needs to be?
That's above my
Yeah, so-
engineering
yeah, so-
knowledge.
The ITC transmission lines is that substation. That's why they're putting it there on top. So that's the benefit is that battery is right there at the superhighway. So the lines that you're seeing are not, those are primary lines, those aren't the transmission lines. The transmission lines are at the ITC tower off of, substation off of Tower Road. So those are the superhighways. Those are the ones that create the big major power. And then it goes distributed to DTE, which then does your neighborhood. Does that make sense to you?
But there still has to be an infrastructure.
Correct, it's gonna be right there at that substation, that's why they're putting it there. The ITC
I
substation.
guess I'll have to drive by and see
It's
what's
a
there.
huge, yeah, it's the main transmission, so it's connected all in the grid of the entire Michigan and the entire United States is connected.
And DTE's there already, right?
They tie into it as a superhighway, yes.
So chances are they're going to be the ones that purchase this service or manage the service, not consumers.
But
Probably.
most likely, yes, consumers could do it. There's other things going in the background where you can buy credit, so consumer buys into ours to manage theirs. That's, again, way above my pay grade as well. But my understanding of the transmission lines is the really big ones are at 30,000 volts, and you come down to about 13,000 volts. Those are the ones that you're talking about that feed the individual townships and stuff like that. And then it comes down to then our line voltages where it actually comes to our home.
Okay.
After it's been through a transformer, but there's what's valuable to these battery storages, those ones that are at that 30,000 volts at the top of those really tall towers. That's what they're looking for, not the ones that are stepped down. That's why we couldn't encourage them to hook up to that Northville site, the battery storage people, it is to the Northville site, because that's the step-down voltage. They want to be on that 30,000 volts at the top.
Well, my daughter lives on Homestead, and there's a tower right behind her house, right off of North Territorial. What, like, in the
There are some-
pyramid in
yeah,
the tier?
There's a grid that goes through our township in both directions, but they intersect at that Joy Road and Tower. So it's the fact that there's actually 7 different pipelines intersecting at that one spot, which made it so valuable to the battery storage people.
Okay.
Not so much that, just the fact that it's a third, there was several items that came together, and MISO, the people who manage the grid, get involved with it as well. Who can get on, how many places you can tap into. So there's a lot of stuff in the background that goes into it. You got to be
There's actually a
interesting
report,
to hear all that
on
stuff.
that if you want it. It's online at the report of why they picked where they picked. And we asked them to consider, asked them to consider those other sites, and then they give a rebuttal why those sites weren't appropriate. So probably to say for the sake of the depth and knowledge, reference the report with them giving you a much.
How would I
more-
find that?
It's online, it's on our website. so-
On our website? Okay.
Jim, a quick follow-up question though, because our township has all these 30,000 watt lines running in different directions. Transmission lines. And over the years, you see one windmill farm, and then about a year later, you see 3 more, and then you see 6 more, and you go up Alma, and there's everywhere. So with that in context, do you think we get one battery storage unit, and in 3 years we'll have a couple more, and then a couple more, because it's concentrated, and you think that could happen?
So that was asked at I think one of the meetings, I don't remember if it was the planning meeting or earlier, they do have a rebuttal for that. It wouldn't be appropriate, let me refer you back to the rebuttal that they had said.
But it could be, it might not even be them, it could be another company.
That question was asked, I recall that question, I don't remember what the answer was, but they said that one of the questions we asked was, why don't you move it somewhere else? So the farther the distance is from that primary substation, the more costly it is for them. So that's why they literally want it right next to it. So it could be an economic drive that would prevent that from happening.
All right, that's good.
But I don't want to speak for them, they're much more experts. Like Kristen said, now you're getting on the fringes of our knowledge of the electrical grid. We're not experts in there in any way, shape, or form.
Okay, anybody else? Again, I want to thank, again, for Flag Day, and also give a shout out to GFL, Dave, and they are the main sponsors of the It was a great evening, Ken, thank you very much. All right, everybody, we'll see you next month. We're adjourned. Stay around, there's plenty of food there, and talk to your neighbors.